Zootropolis 2 is being called the best Disney animated sequel ever. I've been to see it. Do I agree with that? Well, let's find out. Hey, welcome back to another video, a brand new movie review. Today I'm talking all about the latest movie from Disney Animation Studios called Zootropolis 2, or Zootopia 2 for my American viewers. It's in cinemas across the UK right now. I've been to see it. Before we start talking about it though, as always, a friendly reminder, these are just my thoughts, so don't let this dictate whether or not you go and see it, because you might see it and feel totally different to me. That is okay, because movies aren't made to cater for everyone. Without any further ado, let's start yapping away about this film. And I am such a big fan of the original. I really like it, and I was really excited for them to make this film because I think this is a worthy sequel. I think there's really so much more that you can do with this film, these characters, this setting, this environment. I think this is a good sequel and a worthy sequel to be made. I was very excited when they announced it, and I heard such incredible reviews for it. People, like I say, saying it's Disney's best animated sequel ever. Now, when people say that, I don't know whether they include Pixar in that. I don't know whether that's just Disney Animation Studios. I don't know. But, you know, some of the Pixar sequels, if we're including them, they're pretty good. So, you know, I don't know whether I'm going to agree with that. I don't think it's Disney's best animated sequel. I think it's one of Disney's best animated sequels of recent years. I will give that to them. I think it's better than Moana 2 last year. I know you can't really compare all of these sequels because they're different stories, different characters, different types of films, but I do think it's better than Moana 2 that came out last year. And Moana 2 was in my top 5 movies of 2024, so you know, I really enjoyed that. So to say that this is better than that, I'm gonna say that it's a good film. It's gonna be up there in my top 10 this year. But this is a great film. It has the charm, the elegance of the first film. I think it has a really nice flow to it. I think the characters that we meet are really nice characters. Again, opening up a new realm, a new world for Zootropolis, and we can potentially have more films. I don't know whether we need more films. I think potentially 2 is enough, but you know, there's always now the option for more films, and possibly, who knows, Disney like to leave us on cliffhangers at the end of movies, and we get another one in this film. So, you know, it's very much that there's definitely room, and there's definitely an opening for more films to follow this one, but I think this is a really good film. The song from Shakira, Zoo, been in my head for ages. I love it, absolutely love it. I think that's, you know, I'm going to say just as good as the first Shakira song from the first film, Try Everything. I think Zoo is just as good. Really catchy. And the words, written by Elton John, written by Ed Sheeran. I didn't know that. But top props to you, Ed. I really like the song. So very good. And of course, Nick and Judy, just as elegant as always. And I find this is such a good film. I think it has a really nice balance of maturity for older kids and then silliness for younger kids. So I think it really caters for all, and all Disney adults were screaming, crying, loving the fact that this film was just bombarded with Easter eggs. So many Easter eggs. We had Ratatouille Easter eggs. We had Indiana Jones Easter eggs. We had like Frozen, Marvel Easter eggs. Like, there were so many scattered throughout the film, which I loved. And there was even a non-Disney Easter egg, and it was a Coca-Cola polar bear Easter egg. I loved it. I don't know whether anyone else spotted it, but I did. I loved it. And it's Sunday, the what's the day? 30th of November. It came out on the 28th. I've already seen it twice. I saw it once in 2D and once in super screen. I just love it. I really love it. And of course, people may say that I'm biased because I just love Disney, but this is a really good film. I think there are 2 problems which I have to say about this film. My 2 criticisms for this film is, one, I feel like the start, although it has throughout the film, I think it has pretty good pacing. I think some of the stuff we get given in the first chunk of the film, I would say is a bit irrelevant, and it does take a little while for the actual main event and the main plot to get going, purely because of the fact that we're kind of establishing this story, and I think it takes a long while to establish the story before we then get into the main chunk of the film of what we're actually aiming for. But, you know, once we get into it, it's really cool. There's lots of unexpected twists and turns and things that happen that I didn't see happening. Other people may have seen things happening, but I didn't see happening. So really good film. My only other I say critique, I don't know, criticism with this film is I don't think it quite matches the same essence of Zootropolis that we got in the first film. And I think the reason for that is, because I've thought about it, I think the reason for that is we don't actually spend that much time in Zootropolis as we know it. You know, in the first film we spent lots of time on the streets of Zootropolis, you know, with Judy as a parking assistant and all of that sort of stuff, and we don't have that. And I think because of the film not being set in Zootropolis, it obviously is set in Zootropolis, but like the Zootropolis we know and we love and we got to know within the first film, we don't have as much of that in this film, and I think that's why it just lacks just that little bit of familiarity that we got from the first film, just because of the setting of the film. But it's a sequel. Sequels take us down new avenues, explore new realms, and open up these new worlds, and this is exactly what that film does. But really, really good. They're my only two flaws for this film, you know, but I'm being nitpicky. I really enjoyed it, really, really did, and it definitely lived up to my expectations. And I can totally understand why some people are calling this film Disney's best animated sequel to date, because it does it in a really good way, and this is not a sequel that's just been made for money. Although it's had an incredible opening in China, $200 million in its opening weekend in China. Incredible, absolutely incredible. Beating Avengers Endgame, I believe. That is some wild stats for you now. Use that for a pub quiz if you like. But yeah, absolutely great. And if you do rush to go and see Zootropolis 2 as soon as possible, if you head to Cineworld, you may be lucky enough to get some headbands, some Nick and Judy headbands. I picked up two. Very, very childish of me, I know. And if you rush to see it in any cinema, you may be lucky enough to pick up a poster and activity sheets. We love it when Disney release these. They do it all the time. Lilo and Stitch, Moana, Wish, Inside Out 2, they do it all the time. So if you're lucky enough to head to it, see Zootropolis 2 as soon as possible, you might be lucky enough to get some of those goodies. And before I wrap up this movie review though, as always, what's your 8 out of 10? Will it be joined my collection? I'm giving this film an 8 out of 10, a very worthy sequel that I thoroughly enjoyed. Will it be joined my collection? Obviously it will be. I collect every single Disney DVD, give or take. All my Pixars I collect, all the Disney animation studios I collect, so it's bound to be joining my collection. But yes, I loved it, so it will be. And as always, in the description below is the movie plot, a link to the movie trailer, as well as a link to my movie review playlist. It features every single movie review that I've ever done. More to come soon, and I shall see you in another video. Fingers crossed, another movie review very soon.